What's up everybody, welcome to another camera comparison video. This one is a Vivo X70 Pro Plus and here I have Google Pixel 6 Pro. I know a lot of people will come and say, do you have the smartphones? Are you making fake videos? Okay, if I was making fake videos, I wouldn't associate my face with a fake video. Okay, if you don't believe me, if you don't trust me as a reviewer, then just leave. I don't make videos for those haters. I have more than 50,000 subscribers and I am committed to my subscribers, to my regular viewers. Well, I cannot open my mask in the public. If I do that, I will be fined. Anyway, check carefully which smartphone has rendered colors correctly, which smartphone has rendered my skin tone correctly, which one has wider dynamic range, which smartphone microphone is working better, and make a comment. Let me know in the comment section. Also, I had to buy these smartphones. Nobody has provided me with any review units, so I always spend a lot of money to make these camera comparison videos. I wish that you appreciate my hard work by clicking on the like button. If you really end up liking this video, then please kindly click on the like button and subscribe to this channel. Well, it's time to start our camera comparison video between Vivo X70 Pro Plus and Google Pixel 6 Pro. Okay, let's start with daytime photos. 12 megapixel sensor on Google Pixel 6 Pro versus 48 megapixel sensor on Vivo X70 Pro Plus. Yes, I'm talking about sensors sitting underneath the ultrawide lens. Other than a better sensor, Vivo X70 Pro Plus comes with a special Zeiss T-star coated lens, and Google Pixel series is always known for its superb stock camera algorithm. I have tried a lot. I have done enough pixel peeping to find differences, and let me be clear that the differences are pretty minimum and almost ignorable. White balance is slightly different. Pixel 6 Pro goes for slight higher warm tone, while Vivo X70 Pro Plus stays with a bit cooler tone. Yes, the differences are nothing too big, and if you do not compare these side by side, then you won't find it easily. Very good tonal contrast, enough details, and almost perfect color rendition. Things are pretty similar. In general, both generated sharp images, but I have noticed in some photos that sometimes it's sharper on Pixel 6 Pro and sometimes it's sharper on X70 Pro Plus. Yes, no matter whether you take photos with the ultrawide or the main sensor, Google Pixel 6 Pro goes for higher shadows and sometimes exposure is marginally better on X70 Pro Plus, especially when the sun is hitting the lens or when there are a lot of shadow details needed to be processed. I personally felt a bit surprised at the beginning, but I think this isn't a big issue, cause this time Google has introduced a new main sensor with a new chipset. It may require a bit more software polishing. Other than a few marginal differences, really this comparison goes down to personal preferences. Like in this picture, Vivo X70 Pro Plus has done better. But actually I had to do heavy pixel peeping to notice the differences. I really had to check a few different photos and I have checked every picture at least 5 times to make sure I am sharing correct information with you. Yeah, all of these photos were taken in auto mode without any AI and HDR was actually set to auto. All the photos are straight out of these smartphones and when I was taking these photos, I did not even try to improvise with focus or light metering. Vivo X70 Pro Plus with better texture processing. Yes, when I have prepared this script, I was surprised. Vivo doing better than a Google smartphone. But anyway, Vivo has done a bit better. And of course, we will compare these two smartphones after a few months, cause I think Pixel will surely get better with updates. No, I am neither trying to make Google Pixel 6 Pro look better, nor I am a fan of Vivo. I am trying to share my honest opinion with you. As Pixel 6 Pro doesn't have any 50mm lens, it depends on digital zoom. Vivo X70 Pro Plus is simply ahead in this segment. It comes with a dedicated sensor tagged to a 50mm lens and It's a Sony IMX663. Moreover, this one also has OIS. I know Google is known for its amazing digital zoom. Pixel series 3, 4, 5 and the 6 actually all performs great, but it is clear here Vivo X70 Pro Plus with 2 times optical zoom has done better than Pixel 6 Pro. Okay, things are not the same in 5 times zoom. Both the Pixel 6 Pro and the X70 Pro Plus comes with a periscope lens that is tagged to a 48 megapixel sensor. But Google opted for 4 times optical zoom and Vivo opted for 5 times optical zoom. Pixel 6 Pro adds digital crop-in on top of its 4 times optical zoom to produce anything more than 4 times zoom, and the results are amazing. Other than random awkward white balance and a bit of color cast, Pixel 6 Pro has almost beaten Vivo X70 Pro Plus. But once again, under harsh lighting condition, Vivo has managed to maintain better exposure and contrast. Okay, I usually don't go beyond 10x and this was taken at 10 times zoom. Can you see the differences? Well, let me crop in. I think now the differences are visible. Google has really improved its video recording performance. I didn't like the performance of Google Pixel 5, I mean video performance. These video clips were recorded in 4K 30 frames per second and I have enabled standard stabilization on Vivo. I will leave these to you. Check the video clips carefully and let me know which one did better. Before we check portrait photos, let us check human subject photos. This is important to me cause most of the time the main focus of my photos are human subject. Anyway, I was worried that I will get bashed by some viewers because I know there are some people who will have hard time to believe that Vivo X70 Pro Plus has actually did well enough. Yes, I have intentionally chosen the place and time. The sun was setting and with a harsh light with orange tone hitting the lens from the left corner. This is one of the most demanding scenes for photography. Anyway, skin tone is perfect on Google Pixel 6 Pro. Color grading is very similar, but definitely Pixel 6 Pro has increased midtones and shadows, while Vivo X70 Pro Plus has gone for lower highlight and higher vibrance. In terms of details and textures, Pixel 6 Pro has done better than most of the flagships, but this Vivo X70 Pro Plus with its new ISP and updated stock camera algorithm really has done better. In terms of details in the background, contrast and dynamic range, Vivo X70 Pro Plus is also ahead. Okay, almost the same trend in portrait mode. Actually, Pixel 6 Pro doesn't have any 50mm lens and depends on the main sensor for portrait photos. But unlike Mi 11 Ultra, Google Pixel 6 Pro can digitally crop portrait photos and gives it a 50mm portrait look. Vivo X70 Pro Plus comes with a 2x telephoto lens and in bokeh photos, it is way ahead of Pixel 6 Pro. It has better edge detection, better edge cutouts, better separation line blend and more natural portrait lighting effect. Yeah, Vivo definitely has some type of beauty effect, but Pixel 6 Pro has lost the battle in focus and exposure. I have mentioned in almost all of my X70 Pro Plus camera comparison videos, default f-point or bokeh depth is very high in Vivo X70 Pro Plus, and if you dislike it, then you can change it manually. And the same thing goes for Google Pixel 6 Pro. Okay, we have done a dedicated portrait photography video with top 3 Android smartphones along with iPhone 13 Pro Max. Stay tuned and check that video. Contrast, color tone, shadow, and white balance. In indoor low light photos, these are the differences between Pixel 6 Pro and X70 Pro Plus. The usual defining factor like details, textures, sharpness, and exposure is almost pretty similar. I may have mentioned this in my other camera comparison videos. Indoor photography is the segment where most of the smartphones struggles to reproduce true to life photos. Due to different type and colors of lighting, it is difficult for any smartphone to manage and maintain perfect white balance and exposure. Okay, let me remind you, I have taken all the photos in auto mode. I have disabled AI and HDR was set to auto. Straight to the point, color rendition is not very different on these smartphones. Both the Google Pixel 6 Pro and Vivo X70 Pro Plus have rendered colors that is close to reality. However, I have always noticed that Vivo has something different in its algorithm. It always tries to dry out the colors a bit, resulting a bit pale image. Yes, the difference in color grading is not that extreme and it depends on personal preferences. Most of the time, Google Pixel 6 Pro has reproduced more contrasty photos, white balance jumps back and forth. In general, Google Pixel 6 Pro has this warm tone, but sometimes Vivo X70 Pro Plus goes even warmer and sometimes Pixel 6 Pro just drops its color temperature to a cooler tone. Pixel 6 Pro continuously tried to increase shadow detail and occasionally added saturation. On the other hand, Vivo X70 Pro Plus is more consistent when it comes to exposure, but sometimes tonal contrast is not as good as expected. Okay, I will leave a few photos for you. Enjoy the photos and check which one actually goes with your personal preferences. Time for the most awaited chapter, or maybe some of you have just skipped everything and clicked on this chapter. Anyway, these pictures were taken in night sight on Google Pixel 6 Pro and night mode on Vivo X70 Pro Plus. I have my own way to check night mode photos. Most of my subscribers and regular viewers, they know about this. We call it DENS, details, noise, exposure and shadows. But today here we have another factor, that's perfect lens flare by Zeiss. Zeiss have been spending millions to get perfect lens flares and I think Vivo X70 Pro Plus offers the best performance under harsh lighting condition. But you know, Google is Google and they are always known for squeezing the best outcome from whatever hardware they have. That means both of these two smartphones have performed beyond my expectations. But due to different type of processing algorithm and ISP, there are some differences and in general, I don't think there is a big difference in quality. Yes, a lot depends on how you like your photos. Depending on your preferences, you may go for the brighter one or the darker one, but I care about the original vibe of night, which is somehow missing in Google Pixel 6 Pro's night sight. Night sight of Pixel 6 Pro is not as polished as its predecessors. Obviously, details, shadows and contrast is slightly better on Google Pixel 6 Pro, but Vivo is well ahead in exposure, contrast, white balance and noise. Yeah, this surprised me and I have taken a few photos in usual auto mode on Pixel 6 Pro. You can see there is a huge difference. Auto mode photos taken at night looks better than night sight. I think this is an issue and Google has already started to fix this. Maybe in December 2021 update this will get fixed. But for now, Vivo X70 Pro Plus is definitely a better choice for nighttime photos. I cannot remember that I have praised Vivo X70 Pro Plus selfie photos in any of my camera comparison videos. Straightforward, I don't like selfie performance of Vivo X70 Pro Plus. It has way too much skin fairness, skin smoothing and sometimes it's overexposed. We have taken these selfie photos in a very quick time. We have been changing our pose and clicking on shutter. We wanted to check which one has better shutter speed and ISO. Of course, Pixel 6 Pro has done better with more details, better skin tone, faster shutter speed and better exposure. It is better than the flagships from Chinese market, but inferior to iPhone and Samsung flagships. We have changed the place and again grabbed some quick selfie portraits. The same result here. Pixel 6 Pro is better than Vivo X70 Pro Plus. I actually did not notice the difference in color grading until I have started to check these photos on my computer. And once I have noticed it, I was feeling awful. Why can't Vivo improvise their selfie camera performance? Or is this intentional for a certain market? Another set of video clips, and truly both the Vivo X70 Pro Plus and Google Pixel 6 Pro has very good stabilization. But in terms of details and exposure, Vivo is well ahead. I can feel that some of the viewers may not like my verdict. I believe this Vivo X70 Pro Plus is almost the best Android camera smartphone. Yes, Google Pixel 6 Pro currently is the third best Android camera phone in my list after Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra and Vivo X70 Pro Plus. What's your thought on these? Please don't forget to make a comment, and if you have liked this video then please click on the like button, and one more time please subscribe to this channel. Support true content.